Hello and welcome to the Flipping and Wholesaling Houses in New York show. I'm Michael Pinter. I teach you how to start flipping and wholesaling houses, or if you're already doing it, how to grow your business. So today we're going to talk about, I really should go someplace quieter because this is way too loud. We're going to talk about using EMD, the deposit, for closing costs. Really, can you use the deposit for closing costs? That was a question I got. And the answer is probably no, but we sort of have to understand what you're trying to do exactly. Oh boy, it's busy here. You got to understand that how a closing works is all the money goes into one pot. So if I'm buying something, let's say for $200,000, if you'll excuse my face coming right up in front here, but I'm walking through a busy area. So if I'm buying something for let's say $200,000, and I give a $20,000 deposit, that's going to sit with the attorney. And then when I get to closing, I have to pay my $200,000 for the property, and I have to pay, let's say, $10,000 in closing costs, which will consist of title fees, taxes that are due, if I'm paying a real estate commission. So all that money goes into the same pot. It's not like I can actually use it any differently. When the closing comes, in that case, in that example, I have to deliver as a buyer $210,000 at the closing. Now, from a seller's perspective, that money that's given as an EMD is kept by the attorney, so it can't be used. Is there a way for you to get a release on it? Sometimes that happens. So that sometimes the parties will agree to release the escrow funds under certain circumstances or a certain amount. That can happen, but usually that's not done because it's held by an attorney. Remember, New York's an attorney state. It is not a title company closing state like the other 49 states, besides maybe California, where an escrow company moves the money. Here it's being held in an attorney escrow account. He cannot take that money and use anything, but it doesn't even matter if you can, because even from a seller's perspective, let's talk about the other way. So in a seller's perspective, they're selling something for $200,000. The buyer gives a $20,000 deposit, for example. That's sitting in an escrow account. And then let's say they're going to have $10,000 in closing costs, right? They have to pay a realtor or some taxes that are due. So in that case, they're going to end up netting $190,000. When the money comes from doesn't even matter, but usually in New York, and almost every time, the money's going to sit in an attorney escrow account. The attorney cannot take that money out. If he does, he could get disbarred. Most disbarments, I think, occur because of misuse of escrow funds. So it's not going to happen that way. So can you use it? I don't even really, to be honest, I don't really understand the question so much because it doesn't even matter. Now, if from a buyer's perspective, I guess it doesn't make sense. From a seller's perspective, again, that's all going into one pot. So the buyer's got $20,000 sitting in your attorney escrow account. You're going to owe $10,000 in closing costs. You're simply going to affect how much is netted at the closing, right? All closing costs are going to be deducted from a seller at the closing. All closing costs are going to be needed to be collected from a buyer at the closing. And that's just how it works. I wish it could be more descriptive of it. And I don't know what else to talk about because we're only a few minutes into this thing. So if you are borrowing money, I just want to explain something that people don't really understand, because I was in the mortgage business for many, many years. Most of the lending costs are going to be net funded out of the account. So let's say I'm buying a house for $200,000 and I'm taking a loan for $150,000. And let's say there are $10,000 in lender costs. Let's say they're charging me 2 points. 2 points on $150,000 is $3,000. What's going to happen is instead of giving me $150,000, they're just going to give me $10,000 in closing costs less. They can only send me $140,000. That doesn't change the fact of how much I have to bring to the closing. I have to bring all the money plus the closing cost. So it's important to understand what net funding means. A lot of people do not get it. It took me a while when I was in the mortgage business to understand it. It just means they're going to send you less money, but you're going to have to make up that money. So there's no, I'm trying to figure out what the questioner was meant. Maybe I'll get some more clarification on it, but you really can't use deposits for anything. You have to sort of wait till the closing because it's being held in an attorney escrow account, and the attorney is not allowed to really use that money unless all parties agree to release. So I've had situations where I agreed to release some of my escrow funds, some of my deposit funds, because the guy needed it to go somewhere, and that was clear. We created a separate escrow agreement that explained it. But usually the answer is no. You're not allowed to use the deposit money that's sitting in an attorney escrow account for anything, and it's simply going to be it's going to be credited to you as a buyer. If I give a guy $20,000 in closing costs in deposit, then at the closing I need to bring $20,000 less because he's already holding it for me. And as a seller, it's just debited to me. It's just the way it goes. So I hope this was helpful. If you're interested in all the ways I can help you, go to howtoflipnewyork.com. If you're interested in my course that teaches how to do what I do, go to howtoflipnewyorkcourse.com. If you're interested in finding out more about coaching, go to coaching.howtoflipnewyork.com. If you are watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're watching on any channel, please click the thumbs up. That's really helpful, and keep the comments coming. You don't have to comment about the topic of the video you're watching. Sorry, my hair is screwed up. I answer all comments. If it's a simple answer, I'll just reply with an answer. If it's a topic I've covered in depth, I'll send you links to a video or videos on it. And if it's something new, like this is a question I never had before, I will do a new video on this. Thank you very, very much for watching.